I just want to do a quick video, folks, about the smart cities and the digital legislation that Ireland's after enacting into the Irish statute book under EU regulations. And I want to know, do people understand exactly what this means for the Irish people, the men and women of this country, and our children more so than us, because we had our childhood and we had our freedom. Um, but I have some of the legislation written down now because there's a lot of it and I just wouldn't remember them all, and I don't want to leave any out. But the digital legislation after bringing into Ireland in the last couple of years is the Digital Markets Act, the Digital Service Act, the Digital Governance Act, Data Act, Network and Information Systems, the Artificial Intelligence Act, European Digital Identity Framework, Cyber Resilience Act, the Cyber Security Act, the Digital Operational Resilience Act. And I've already said Ireland enacts all relevant EU legislation into the Irish statute book. But my question here is, who gave the Irish government, the authority to enact EU legislation into our Irish statute book? Did the people, we were never asked this, would we allow this or accept this, but yet here we are today where EU law supersedes Irish law. So my question is, who gave them that right or power to do this? And why have we accepted this as if it's just the way it's going to be? Because to me, it's discrimination, because we are Ireland. This is ERA, our country, but they've turned it into a corporation where EU law supersedes our 1916 freedoms. So, um, out of 20 companies, the main 20 companies in this country, in the world, for the digitalization of the world, 16 of them are here, headquarters in Ireland. And this body of legislation is important to the US tech companies doing business in Ireland, as it may necessitate internal compliance obligations alongside market development opportunities. Now, in April 2022, we saw Cork City and Dublin City were selected from over 300 applicants to participate in the Smart Cities and Climate Neutral programme that the EU and UN are running to secure a sustainable city and living city. But what they're not telling people is how it's going to be monitored and controlled every second and step of the way. Now, Galway was also given a €1 million grant to as part of the EU Mission Pilot Cities programme. Now, we know there's 3 other cities that's since been selected, but they're the main two that I'm going to focus on because it's where they seem to have the most advancements. Now we see all these 5G masts up around the country, and they're all mainly beside schools and GAs. And one of the main questions is, why is it beside the GA clubs? And that's because the GA signed a contract along with the DCU, Intel, and Microsoft teamed up to transform the ground from a static. This is going into Croke Park. Sorry, I'm jumping. Croke Park was basically the first record. It was the first building recognized in the world to be connected to the Internet of Things. So and since it's been connected, whoever's been gone to Croke Park to watch a match, you're now being monitored, analysed, and you're turned into data the minute you step onto that grounds. Um, and cameras everywhere. There's biosensors absolutely everywhere, even in the ground, the grass of that ground, to see how far the players ran and where players spent most time on the pitch. Everything is being monitored and analysed and turned into data. But that's exactly what they want to do to our cities and every inch of this country. But what they're not telling people is how we're going to have a carbon control mechanism where basically if you go over your carbon limit, you won't be allowed to leave your smart city. You won't be allowed to leave your zone from where you're being placed. Within your 15 minutes, you won't be allowed to leave unless you stick within your carbon limit. And they already know everything we're absolutely doing, because people think, oh, I'm against this digital takeover and I'm against all of this, but myself included here, because I have a smartphone. We're already in it, whether we like to agree or believe it or not. If you have an ATM card, a Leap card, that's all digitalization. It's all part of their plan to bring us into their new world order. Um, Now, Dublin is home to EMEA, which is Europe, Middle East, and Asia, which is again convenient because that's where we see most of our people coming into this country from. It's because it's again part of the replacement migration program, but it's also part of their business program to bring about what they want to be. Now, the EMEA is a standard business acronym group in the countries of Europe, Asia, Middle East, and Asia, the entire continent of Africa. Sorry, I keep saying Asia, but it's Africa. It helps multinational corporations alongside sales, territories, leadership, and strategic focus for this large, diverse area. And because the regional headquarters are here in Ireland, it plays a central role in ensuring that EU digital regulations are implemented coherently and effectively. So we're actually deeper in this than most people realise. Um, when it comes to the digitalization of our country, of this corporation of theirs. Now these smart cities, folks, are you really going to be okay with the government monitoring your every single move? And like they already monitor us more than we realize. And they know what we're buying in shops. They know because these are all digital payments. People are so using for convenience now. They love to shop online instead of leaving their home. But while it's convenient now, what they're not telling us is that'll be our only option in a couple of years' time. By 2030, they plan to have this all implemented. By 2028, they have planned to have cash gone. In 2028, they're also not going to make petrol and diesel cars anymore, so people will only be able to buy electric. We're being forced into this whether we like it or not. And I don't see enough people standing up and saying, I'm not okay with this, because I, for one, I'm not okay with my children being monitored 24/7. Um, and then, like, say if they go out or carbon, if you buy an extra bit of beef today, you won't be allowed to leave your 15 minute zone. Um, they'll give extra allowances, say for people who work in Dublin, you'll probably get an extra bit of carbon credit allowance. But the majority of people are going to be like this, and it's literally heading to China's system. Whether people want to believe this is true or not, this is exactly where it's going. We're all going to be monitored and watched and controlled in every single aspect of our lives. Like even our houses now are filled with smart appliances. People don't even realize that the government are analyzing this. So they'll know how many times you used a washing machine. They'll know how many times, like your fridge, you've got your smart fridge, you've got your smart kettles, might like so many different things, your washing machines, dryers, televisions. There's so many smart appliances in our homes now. I have to ask the question is, why do we need them? Why do we need our appliances to be smart? Can we not just go back to the basics and people do these things ourselves? Why do we need the appliance to do this for us? Because that carbon control is going to be, it's not the government who's going to give us our carbon number, it's AI, which again goes against GDPR and privacy, because all of this information, who's going to get it? Where's it going to go? And like, these systems are easily hackable. Yes, they use blockchain and all these other nonsense yokes, but they're still easily hackable. So why are we sitting back and allowing this? Why are we accepting this? We're all focusing on the wrong things when we really need to be looking at the biodigital convergence of what they're trying to do to humanity right now and merge us to become one. Like, it's this, to me, I believe, is the biggest threat we have right now. And we see all the gatekeepers up there talking about all their nonsense, the same things that we've been speaking about for the last 5 or 6 years, but none of them will talk about this reality, um, of how we're being locked into our own digital world with our digital twin, and we're going to be left to comply with no option but to do what they say, unless we stand up and stand together and say no now, because otherwise this is coming at a very warp speed, to use Trump's words. Um, it's coming and it's here. Like, so many of us are being monitored and we don't even realize it right now. But my question is back again to how did the Irish government think that it's okay for them to make EU law to supersede Irish law in our country? I mean, who gave them that right? Why did we give them that authority? And why are we still allowing them to have that authority? The role of the Irish government is to look after the Irish people. It's simple. That's all. That's it. That's all they have to do. But since joining the UN and the EU, it seems to have forgot the role and are now following their little puppet masters to bring in EU legislation, which again all falls down to the UN Sustainable Developmental Goals, because that's the end game here. That's what they want. They want one world, one government, and one people, one global family of citizens. There'll be no Irish, there'll be no English, no French, German. It'll be all just us citizens, us good little slaves who are being monitored. And if you don't comply, you're going to be pushed out of society. Is this really what you want for your children? Because if it's not, it's time to stand up now and use your voice and be heard. Otherwise, no, you're walking your children into a prison, and it'll be your downfall and fault as much as it is the governments of the world. Because yes, they're doing what they're told, but you're allowing them to do what they're told. So is this really what you want for your children, folks? The choice really is yours now, and it's up to you to either make a stand or no, you're enabling your children's future, which is going to be diabolical and locked into a prison of complete control and surveillance. And if that's what you want and you're okay with it, well then continue to say, keep your head down and be the little compliant sheep. But if not, stand up, make your voice known and be heard. It really is that simple.